Have you ever
Do
stood
not
in
be
someone
afraid.
else's
I
dress,
am afraid.
wearing
I will
someone else's
protect you.
face,
Trust me.
about to marry someone else's fate? My name is Mira Ashwood, 24 years old, the second daughter, the shadow twin, the one nobody ever remembered to look at twice. Tonight, I'm committing treason. The wedding gown weighs heavy on my shoulders. White silk imported from the eastern provinces, embroidered with silver thread that catches the candlelight like captured starlight. It fits perfectly. Of course it does. Celestine and I share the same body, the same face, the same copper hair that falls in waves down our backs. Same hazel eyes, same height, same everything. Except we're not the same at all. My sister is beautiful, confident, the beloved daughter who could command a room with a single smile. I'm the quiet one, the forgotten one, the spare, and now the replacement. I stare at my reflection in the antique mirror. Celestine stares back. The resemblance is uncanny, perfect, damning. My father stands in the doorway, his expression carved from stone in disappointment. Remember every detail I taught you. His voice cuts through the silence like a blade. You are Celestine Ashwood. You speak like Celestine. You move like Celestine. One mistake, Mira, and the treaty crumbles. One mistake, and thousands die. My hands shake. I press them flat against the vanity table, willing them to be still. What if he realizes? The words escape before I can stop them. They say the vampire king can read thoughts, can sense deception, he's never met your sister, never heard her voice, never seen her face except in portraits. My father's tone brooks no argument. You're identical twins, he'll never know. But there's something he's not saying, something about the way his jaw tightens, the way his eyes slide away from mine. The reports describe Celestine's scent. I force myself to say it. Wild roses in moonlight. That's what the negotiators wrote. Vampires have heightened senses. What if? Then you'd better pray you smell like roses. He doesn't know that I've always smelled different from Celestine. Lavender and something else, something the herbalist once called starlight, though I never understood what scent starlight could possibly be. My father crosses to me, grips my shoulders hard enough to bruise. Your sister abandoned her duty, ran away with that worthless painter 3 nights ago, left a note saying she'd rather die than bind herself to a monster. His fingers dig deeper. But the treaty requires an Ashwood daughter. If I can't provide one, the vampire king dissolves the alliance. The war resumes. Our lands burn. Our people die. So you'll send me to burn instead. I'll send you to save our house. He releases me with a shove. The ceremony begins in 1 hour. The veil stays down until the blood bond is sealed. By then it will be too late for him to refuse. And after? My voice barely rises above a whisper. After the ceremony, when he expects his bride to, you'll do what's required. No warmth, no mercy. You'll seal the bond completely. By dawn, you'll be queen of the Nightborn court, and he'll have no choice but to accept it. He doesn't care if I survive this, doesn't care if the vampire king discovers the deception and drains me dry for the insult. Doesn't care about anything except the alliance, the treaty, the political power it brings our small human territory. I'm not his daughter in this moment. I'm a chess piece, a sacrifice, a necessary loss. The door closes behind him. I'm alone with my reflection, with the borrowed dress, with the weight of impossible choices pressing down on my chest until I can barely breathe. Somewhere beyond these walls, Celestine is free, running toward love, toward choice, toward a life she chose for herself, and I'm walking toward a monster. The grand hall of Thornhaven Castle blazes with 1,000 candles. I stand at the entrance, hidden behind heavy oak doors, and listen to the gathered crowd beyond. Vampires, hundreds of them. Their voices carry differently than human voices. Something smoother, something that resonates in frequencies that make my bones hum. The treaty delegation stands nearest the altar. Human lords and ladies dressed in their finest, desperate to maintain the fragile peace that's held for barely 3 months. Before that, 100 years of war. Humans fighting for survival against immortal predators who could move faster than the eye could track, who could compel obedience with a glance, who fed on blood and never aged. The war only ended because both sides were exhausted. Too many losses, too much destruction. And now this treaty, sealed with a marriage. A vampire king taking a human bride. Celestine was supposed to be the symbol of unity, of peace, of a new era. Instead, they're getting me. The musicians strike the opening chords. My cue. The doors swing open. Every face turns toward me. The veil covers my features, thick enough to obscure, traditional enough that no one questions it. Ancient custom dictates the bride remains hidden until the blood bond ceremony completes. Something about purity, about the unveiling being a sacred moment. Really, it's the only thing saving me right now. I force my feet to move. One step, another. The aisle stretches endlessly before me, lined with vampires whose eyes track my movement with predatory precision. They're beautiful, all of them. Inhumanly perfect features, skin like porcelain, eyes that glow faintly in the candlelight. And at the end of the aisle stands the vampire king, Draven Noctis. I've seen the portraits, heard the descriptions from trembling diplomats who negotiated this treaty, but nothing prepared me for the reality. He's tall, easily 6.5 feet, maybe more, broad shoulders beneath a black coat embroidered with silver ravens, the symbol of his house. His hair is dark as midnight, longer than current fashion dictates, pulled back from a face that could have been carved by a sculptor who understood beauty and terror in equal measure. Sharp cheekbones, a jaw that could cut glass, lips curved in something that's not quite a smile, but his eyes, deep crimson, the color of fresh blood, of rubies held to candlelight, of things ancient and powerful and utterly inhuman. Those eyes fix on me through the veil, and I feel the weight of his attention like a physical thing. I keep walking, keep breathing, keep pretending I have any right to be here. The scent of incense hangs heavy in the air, myrrh and something else, something metallic. The entire hall smells of old stone and older magic, of power that predates the current age by centuries. Halfway down the aisle, my foot catches on the hem of the gown. I stumble, a collective intake of breath from the crowd. But I don't fall. I steady myself, heart hammering, and continue forward. When I finally reach the altar, Draven extends his hand. I take it. His skin is cool, not cold exactly, but lacking the warmth of human touch. His fingers curl around mine with a gentleness that contradicts everything I've heard about vampire strength, about how they could crush bone with casual pressure. The high priest steps forward, an ancient vampire in ceremonial robes that sweep the floor. His voice carries through the hall without effort. We gather tonight to witness the union of two houses, two peoples, two worlds. He raises his hands. The blood bond ceremony is sacred, eternal, unbreakable. Once sealed, no force in this realm or any other can sever it. My pulse races. Draven's thumb brushes across my knuckles, a small gesture that could be reassurance or warning. The priest continues. The blood bond requires truth, requires consent freely given, requires the willingness of both parties to merge their essences, their lives, their very souls. Guilt crashes over me in waves. There's no truth here, no real consent, just deception and desperation and a father's ultimatum. Lord Draven Noctis, do you accept this woman as your blood-bonded mate, your equal in all things, your companion through eternity? Draven's voice rolls through the hall like distant thunder. I do. Lady Celestine Ashwood, the priest turns to me, do you accept this man as your blood-bonded mate, your protector and your king, Your companion through mortal life and beyond? The lie burns in my throat, but I speak it anyway. I do. The priest produces an ornate chalice, silver chased with gold, ancient beyond measure. He gestures to Draven first. Draven releases my hand, extends his wrist over the chalice. Without hesitation, without flinching, he draws a small, ceremonial blade across his pale skin. Blood wells up, impossibly red. It drips into the chalice with soft sounds that echo in the hushed hall. Vampire blood. I've never seen it before. It seems to glow faintly, seems to pulse with its own light. The wound closes almost immediately, skin knitting back together until no trace remains. The priest turns to me. My hands tremble as I extend my wrist. The blade is cold against my skin. The cut stings, sharp and bright, and my blood joins Draven's in the chalice. Human blood, mortal, fragile. It looks different mixed with his, darker, changed. The priest swirls the chalice 3 times, murmuring words in a language I don't recognize. Old vampiric, maybe. The language of ceremonies and bindings and magic that predates human civilization. He offers the chalice to Draven first. Draven drinks without hesitation, his eyes never leaving mine through the veil. Then the chalice comes to me. I lift it to my lips. The smell hits me first, copper and something else. Something that makes every instinct scream, danger, predator, run. But I drink. It tastes like metal and darkness in power. It burns down my throat, spreads warmth through my chest that has nothing to do with temperature. Something shifts inside me, something fundamental, like the world tilting on its axis. The blood bond activates. I feel him, Draven, a presence at the edge of my consciousness, foreign and vast and utterly overwhelming. Our life forces touching, intertwining, beginning the process of merging that will complete over time. His emotions bleed into mine, curiosity, satisfaction, and something else, something I can't quite identify. The blood bond is formed, the priest announces. Now comes the sealing. This is it, the moment I've been dreading. The tradition requires the vampire to bite his bride, to seal the bond with venom, to mark her as his for all to see. It's intimate, permanent, and there's no way to fake it. Draven steps closer. His hand comes up to the edge of my veil. The entire hall seems to hold its breath. He lifts the veil slowly, carefully, revealing my face inch by inch. Our eyes meet, crimson to hazel, immortal to mortal. His expression doesn't change. No shock, no recognition of deception, nothing. He thinks I'm Celestine, has to think I'm Celestine. Draven's hand slides to the back of my neck, fingers threading into my hair. He draws me closer with inexorable gentleness. His head dips toward my throat. I close my eyes, feel his breath against my skin, cool and steady. Then he pauses. I feel him inhale, deeply, drawing in my scent. The moment stretches, extends, becomes excruciating. When he speaks, his voice is barely a whisper, meant only for me. Lavender and starlight. My blood turns to ice. Not wild roses in moonlight. Oh gods, he knows. But he doesn't pull away, doesn't call out the deception, doesn't denounce me in front of the entire assembled court. Instead, his fangs pierce my throat with surgical precision. The pain is brief, sharp, then transforms into something else entirely. Warmth floods through me, starting from the bite and radiating outward. His venom enters my bloodstream, mixing with the blood bond, completing the ceremony. I feel him drinking. Feel the pull of my blood leaving my body. Feel the bond solidifying into something unbreakable, eternal, real. He takes exactly 3 swallows, no more. Then his tongue brushes the wounds, sealing them with vampire saliva that stops the bleeding instantly. When he pulls back, his eyes are darker, more crimson, more intense. Mine, he says, loud enough for the hall to hear. The word resonates with power, with possession, with finality. The crowd erupts in applause. The blood bond is sealed. I'm married to the Vampire King, and he knows I'm not who I claim to be. The reception passes in a blur of faces and voices and barely contained panic. We sit at the high table, Draven and I, while vampire nobles and human dignitaries approach with congratulations and carefully worded blessings. I smile when expected, nod when appropriate, say as little as possible. Draven plays the role of attentive groom perfectly. His hand rests on my lower back, proprietary and warm through the silk of the gown. He leans in occasionally, whispers things that sound like endearments, but aren't. You're trembling. Breathe slower, you'll hyperventilate. Smile at Lord Corvus. He holds 3 territories in a grudge. I obey each quiet command, too terrified to do anything else. The feast laid before us is elaborate. Roasted meats and delicate pastries and fruits arranged like works of art. Wine flows freely, dark as blood in crystal goblets. Draven doesn't eat. Vampires don't need food, only blood. But he makes a show of raising his wine glass, of toasting to peace and unity in the future. I can barely swallow. A vampire lady approaches, her gown shimmering like moonlight on water. Your Majesty, your bride is exquisite, such unusual coloring. Her eyes linger on me with predatory interest. Will you be turning her soon? Turning, making me a mortal. Vampire. Draven's hand tightens fractionally on my back. That decision belongs to my queen, when and if she chooses. The lady's smile sharpens. Of course, how progressive. She glides away, leaving a trail of jasmine perfume. The evening drags on. Musicians play. Vampires dance with inhuman grace. Human guests cluster together, safety in numbers, trying not to look like prey. Finally, mercifully, Draven stands. It's time, he announces to the table. Time for what every wedding night demands. Time for consummation. Time for me to complete the deception or die trying. He offers his hand. I take it, feeling the room's eyes on us as we leave the hall. The walk to the royal chambers takes an eternity. Long corridors lined with portraits of previous Noctis rulers, their painted eyes following our progress. Candlelight flickers against stone walls. Somewhere a clock chimes midnight. Guards stand at attention outside massive double doors. They bow as Draven approaches, open the doors without a word. The chambers beyond are breathtaking. A bed large enough for 5 people dominates the space, draped in midnight blue silk. Windows overlook the palace grounds, moonlight streaming through leaded glass. A fire burns in an enormous hearth, casting dancing shadows. Draven closes the door behind us. We're alone. I stand frozen in the center of the room, heart racing, mind spinning through possibilities. He knows I'm not Celestine. He's known since the ceremony, maybe longer. Will he kill me now? Drain me for the insult? Call the guards and have me executed for fraud? He crosses to a side table, pours wine into 2 glasses with steady hands. Drink. He offers me a glass. I take it, grateful for something to do with my shaking hands. The wine is excellent, smooth and rich. I drink too fast, feel it warm my chest. Draven watches me with those unreadable crimson eyes. I should explain, I start. Not yet, he cuts me off gently. First, I want you to understand something. He sets his glass down, turns to face me fully. I value honesty above all things. Deception, in any form, is the worst betrayal I can imagine. His voice is calm, almost conversational. My first blood-bonded mate lied to me, used me for power, for immortality, for access to my resources. When I discovered the truth, it nearly destroyed me. My throat closes. This is it. This is where he passes judgment. That was 200 years ago, he continues. I swore I would never bond again, never trust again, never allow anyone close enough to deceive me. Then why? The words escape before I can stop them. Why did you complete the ceremony? If you knew I wasn't Celestine, why didn't you stop it? His expression softens fractionally. Because despite the deception, despite the lie, I sense something in you. Something genuine, something worth learning about. He steps closer, close enough that I have to tilt my head back to maintain eye contact. I'm going to give you a choice, Mira Ashwood. He says my real name deliberately, lets it hang in the air between us. You can tell me the truth now, all of it, why you're here instead of your sister, what you're afraid of, what you hope for. Complete honesty, starting this moment. And if I refuse? Then I'll assume the deception runs deeper. I'll assume you're here for nefarious purposes, and I'll act accordingly. No threat in his tone, just statement of fact. I should lie, should maintain the pretense. But something about the way he's looking at me, something about the bond I can feel humming between us, makes me want to trust him. Celestine ran away, I hear myself say, 3 nights ago. She left a note saying she'd rather die than marry a monster. I flinch at my own words. My father forced me to take her place, said if I refused, he'd claim I helped her escape, have me executed for treason. So you chose survival. I chose to save my people. The treaty keeps the peace. Without it, the war resumes. Thousands die. I meet his eyes. I didn't want to deceive you, but I had no choice. Draven studies me for a long moment. Then, unexpectedly, he nods. I believe you. Relief nearly buckles my knees. Here's what's going to happen. He moves to the bed, sits on the edge with casual grace. Publicly, you are Celestine Ashwood, my blood-bonded queen. The treaty stands. The alliance holds. Peace continues. And privately? Privately, you are Mira. You will be honest with me in all things. No more lies. No more deception. His eyes pin me in place. In return, I will protect you, teach you, help you become the queen you need to be. You're not going to, I can't finish the sentence. Consummate the bond? He shakes his head. Not tonight, not until you choose it freely, without coercion or duty or fear. He stands, moves toward a door I hadn't noticed. This is the sitting room. I'll sleep there tonight. The bed is yours. Confusion wars with relief. The treaty requires consummation. The council will expect. The council will believe what I tell them to believe. His hand rests on the door handle. I've been king for 300 years, Mira. I know how to manage expectations. He pauses, looks back at me one more time. Sleep well. Tomorrow, your real education begins. The door closes softly behind him. I stand alone in the royal chambers, still wearing the borrowed wedding gown, still shaking from adrenaline and terror and relief. The Vampire King knows my secret, and for reasons I don't understand, he's chosen to protect it. 3 months pass like a fever dream. Every morning I wake in silk sheets that still smell faintly of lavender. Every morning I have to remind myself that this is real, not some elaborate nightmare. Draven assigns me tutors, vampire scholars who teach me court politics with the patience of immortals who have endless time. I learn about the Nightborn territories, about the 5 great houses that comprise the vampire realm, about alliances and feuds that predate human recorded history. I learn about blood bonds, about how they work, how they create a connection between souls, allow emotions to flow between bonded pairs, strengthen over time until the partners can communicate without words. I learn that vampire society values intelligence and cunning as much as strength. That respect must be earned, not demanded. That a human queen is unprecedented but not impossible. Lady Ravenna, my primary tutor, is ancient and sharp as broken glass. You mediate well, she observes after I successfully negotiate a dispute between 2 minor noble houses. Better than most vampires, certainly better than humans typically manage. You listen before speaking. Rare quality. Thank you, Lady Ravenna. Don't thank me yet. You'll need more than listening skills when the court vipers start circling. Her eyes, pale as winter ice, fix on me. They're already whispering, about how you seem different from your portraits, how your mannerisms don't match the reports, how you prefer books to balls, diplomacy to decoration. My blood runs cold. Do they suspect that you're not who you claim? Some do, but His Majesty's support shields you, for now. She leans forward. The question is, will you prove worthy of that shield, or will you crumble under the pressure? I straighten my spine. I won't crumble. See that you don't. A weak queen is worse than no queen at all. The days blur together. Etiquette lessons, language tutoring in Old Vampiric, sessions with the palace steward, learning how to manage a household of immortal servants, fittings for gowns I'll wear to court functions, and every evening, dinner with Draven. He keeps his word, never pushes for intimacy, never demands more than I'm willing to give. But he's there, constant, a presence I'm becoming accustomed to. We talk about everything and nothing, about his long life, about my short one, about the weight of ruling, the burden of expectations, the loneliness of power. Do you miss being human? I ask one night, emboldened by wine and candlelight. He considers the question seriously. I miss the sun, miss the warmth of it on my skin, miss the simple pleasure of a summer afternoon. His fingers trace patterns on the table. But I don't miss mortality, don't miss feeling time slipping away, counting the days until inevitable decay. Is that why you've never turned anyone since? I stop, realizing I'm treading on painful ground. Since Isadora? He doesn't flinch from the name. Partially, she wanted immortality more than she wanted me. The turning was a means to an end. When I discovered the truth, when I understood she'd never loved me at all, just the power I could give her. He trails off. I ended the bond, exiled her, swore I'd never make that mistake again. But you bonded with me, with Celestine. Why? His eyes meet mine across the table. The treaty required it, and I thought perhaps a political arrangement would be safer. No pretense of love, no illusions, just duty and alliance. But I'm not Celestine. No, his voice softens. You're not. You're something I didn't expect. The bond between us hums, warm and alive. I feel his emotions like distant echoes, curiosity, growing affection, something deeper he's keeping carefully guarded. The attraction is undeniable. Every time he's near, every casual touch, every shared glance across a crowded room, I feel it building, the bond intensifying, the connection deepening. But he never pushes, never demands. He's waiting for me to choose. It happens on a quiet night in the third month. We're in the private library, a room I've come to love. Floor-to-ceiling shelves lined with books in dozens of languages. Comfortable chairs near the fire. The scent of old paper and leather and wood smoke. I'm reading a history of the vampire-human wars. Draven is at the desk, reviewing reports from his territories. I don't understand something, I say, breaking the comfortable silence. The reports say you're savage, ruthless, that you've killed thousands in battle, destroyed entire armies single-handedly. I look up from my book. But you've been nothing but patient with me, kind, almost gentle. He sets down his quill, turns to face me fully. Would you prefer I be savage? No, I just want to understand who you really are. He's quiet for a long moment. Then he stands, crosses to the window, stares out at the moonlit grounds. In battle, I am everything they say, ruthless when necessary, violent when required. I've lived 300 years, Mira. I've fought wars that would break a mortal mind to witness. His reflection in the glass is ghostly, ethereal. But here, in this space, with you, I can be something else, something I haven't been in a very long time. What's that? Myself. The vulnerability in those words strikes something deep in my chest. I stand, cross to him, stop just close enough to feel the coolness radiating from his skin. Thank you, I say quietly, for giving me time, for not forcing anything, for treating me like a person instead of a political tool. He turns to face me. This close, I can see flecks of darker crimson in his eyes, like garnets in blood. You are a person, worthy of respect, worthy of choice. His hand comes up, hovers near my face without touching. I've waited 200 years to feel a bond this strong. I can wait a little longer. The bond pulses between us, alive and eager. I make a decision. What if I don't want to wait? His eyes widen fractionally. Mira, I choose this. The words come out steadier than I feel. I choose you, not because of duty or fear or political necessity, because I want to. You're certain? Yes. He searches my face for doubt, for hesitation, finds none. When he kisses me, it's with a gentleness that contradicts every story about vampire passion, about savage desire. His lips are cool against mine, careful, reverent. The bond ignites. I feel everything. His desire, his restraint, his desperate hope that this is real. It floods through me, mingles with my own emotions until I can't tell where he ends and I begin. He pulls back slightly, breathing unnecessary but habit ingrained over centuries. If we do this, there's no going back. The bond will complete. You'll be mine in every way that matters. I know. And I'll be yours, equally, eternally. I'm counting on it. His smile is radiant, transforming his entire face. Then he sweeps me into his arms with inhuman ease, carries me toward the bedroom. That night we complete the blood bond properly, and I understand finally what it means to choose your own fate. The morning after changes everything. I wake wrapped in silk sheets that smell like Draven, like cold stone and midnight in something uniquely him. His arm is draped across my waist, his body curved against my back, and for the first time in months, I feel safe. Completely, utterly safe. The bond between us pulses with warmth, with completion. I can feel him even in sleep, his consciousness resting against mine like a second heartbeat. Our souls intertwined, merged, inseparable. When I shift slightly, his arm tightens. Stay. His voice is rough with sleep, though vampires don't truly sleep the way humans do. Something closer to meditation, consciousness dimmed but never fully absent. I'm not going anywhere. Good. He presses a kiss to my shoulder, fangs grazing skin without breaking it. A promise, not a threat. We lie like that as dawn light begins to filter through the heavy curtains. Vampires can't tolerate direct sunlight, but the pale morning glow doesn't harm them. Draven has explained it before. It's the full strength of midday sun that burns, that destroys. Early morning and dusk are safe enough, merely uncomfortable. I can feel you differently now, I murmur. The bond, it's stronger. Complete, he confirms. We're fully bonded now. Mated in every way that matters. His hand splays across my stomach. You'll notice changes over the coming weeks. Enhanced senses, faster healing, extended lifespan, though not immortality unless you choose to turn. And my scent? He inhales deeply against my neck. Changed. Still lavender, but there's something else now, something sweeter, like roses blooming at midnight. Lavender and roses, a fusion of who I was and who I've become, the mark of a true mate bond. Month 4 brings a rhythm I never expected. I'm no longer pretending to be queen. I am queen. The court still calls me Celestine publicly, but in private chambers, in quiet moments, I'm simply Mira, Draven's mate, his partner, his equal. Lady Ravenna notices the change immediately. You move differently, she observes during our morning session. We're reviewing trade agreements between the vampire territories and human lands. More confident, The bond completion shows. I don't deny it, can't really. The bond mark on my throat is visible to anyone who looks. Two small scars where Draven's fangs pierced during our mating. In vampire society, it's a badge of honor, proof of claim, of commitment, of love. His Majesty seems different as well, Ravenna continues, her ancient eyes sharp. Less guarded, almost content. She pauses. I haven't seen him this way since before Isadora's betrayal. The name still stings, though I know it shouldn't. Draven's first mate, the one who used him, who broke his trust so thoroughly he swore never to bond again. Until me. She taught him an important lesson, I say quietly, about the difference between love and manipulation. Yes, Ravenna's smile is genuine, rare, and you're teaching him a new one, about trust earned honestly. The days blur into routine, morning lessons, afternoon court sessions where I sit beside Draven, learning to read the subtle politics of immortal beings. Evening dinners, sometimes private, sometimes hosting visiting nobles. And nights. Nights belong to us alone. Draven teaches me about vampire culture, about the long history of his people. I teach him about human resilience, about the beauty of mortality, about finding meaning in limited time. We learn each other. One evening, as we walk through the palace gardens under moonlight, he stops beside a bed of night-blooming roses. These were Isadora's favorite, he says, voice carefully neutral. She had them planted everywhere. After she left, I considered tearing them all out. Why didn't you? Because erasing her wouldn't erase the lesson. He turns to face me. She taught me that love without honesty is poison, that beauty without substance is meaningless, that I'd rather be alone than deceived. I take his hand, feel the coolness of his skin against my warmth. I'm glad you didn't tear them out. They're beautiful. And they're just flowers. They don't belong to her anymore. He lifts my hand to his lips, kisses my knuckles with deliberate care. Nothing belongs to her anymore. Everything I am, everything I have, belongs to you now. The bond flares between us, golden and warm and true. Count Valerius arrives on a Tuesday in the 5th month. The announcement comes during morning court. A messenger, breathless despite being vampire, bows low before the throne. Your Majesty, Count Valerius of the Western Marches requests immediate audience. He brings news of urgent importance. Draven's expression doesn't change, but I feel his tension through the bond. Sharp, sudden, dangerous. Show him in. I've heard of Count Valerius, one of the most powerful vampire lords, ruler of vast territories along the western border. Ancient, ambitious, and utterly without mercy. When he enters the throne room, silence falls like a blade. He's tall, nearly as tall as Draven, with silver hair that flows past his shoulders. His face is aristocratic, beautiful in the way of old marble statues, cold, perfect, dead. His eyes, pale blue like winter ice, sweep the room before settling on the throne, on Draven, on me. Your Majesty, his bow is precise, exactly as deep as protocol demands, and not an inch further. How good of you to receive me. Count Valerius, it's been nearly a century since you've graced our court. Draven's tone is cordial, but I can feel the wariness beneath. To what do we owe this unexpected pleasure? I came to verify the rumors. Valerius's gaze shifts to me fully. They say you've taken a human bride, completed a blood bond with a mortal. I confess I had to see it for myself. You've seen it. The bond is complete, legal, and recognized by the High Council. Indeed. Valerius moves closer, each step measured and deliberate. Though I wonder at the wisdom of it. A human queen, so fragile, so temporary. His smile is blade sharp. Unless you plan to turn her, of course, that decision belongs to my queen, when and if she chooses. How progressive. The word drips with contempt. Though I notice something curious about your queen, Your Majesty. My heart stutters. Draven's hand finds mine on the armrest, squeezes once. Steady. She doesn't smell quite right. The throne room goes deathly quiet. Valerius continues, voice smooth as poisoned silk. The reports from the treaty negotiations describe Lady Celestine Ashwood as smelling of wild roses in moonlight. Quite distinctive, quite memorable. He inhales deliberately. But your queen smells of lavender and roses. A fusion. How very unusual. Draven stands, and the temperature in the room seems to drop. My queen's scent is her own business, as is the nature of our bond. Of course, of course. Valerius holds up his hands, a mockery of surrender. I merely note the discrepancy. Others might question it, might wonder if perhaps the bride who stands before us is not the same one who was promised in the treaty. There it is, the accusation wrapped in false concern. Are you questioning my queen's legitimacy? Draven's voice could cut diamond. I'm questioning the validity of a treaty built on potential deception. Valerius's eyes gleam. If this woman is not truly Celestine Ashwood, then the alliance is void. The blood bond, while real, is not the one agreed upon. Technically, you should dissolve it and mate with the true Celestine. My blood runs cold. He knows. Somehow, he knows. That's absurd, I hear myself say. Every eye turns to me. My scent changed when the bond completed. It's documented in vampire lore. When mates join fully, their scents merge. So you claim to be Celestine Ashwood? I claim to be Queen Mira Noctis. The words emerge stronger than I feel. Whatever name I was born with matters less than who I am now. Valerius's smile widens. How fascinating. And does Lord Ashwood know his daughter has taken a new name? Perhaps we should summon him. Ask him to identify his own child. Draven moves between us faster than human eyes can track. You overstep, Valerius, dramatically. I seek only truth, Your Majesty. Surely you, of all vampires, value truth above all else. The irony is not lost on anyone in the room. Draven, who was betrayed by deception, now defending a queen whose entire presence is built on substitution. The truth, Draven says quietly, dangerously, is that I completed a blood bond with an Ashwood daughter. The treaty required an Ashwood daughter. It did not specify which one. Shocked murmurs ripple through the court. Valerius's expression shifts, surprise breaking through his careful composure. You knew? From the moment she walked down the aisle, did you think 3 centuries of life hasn't taught me to recognize deception? Draven's hand finds mine again, pulls me to stand beside him. I knew. I chose her anyway. I choose her still. But the treaty is fulfilled. An Ashwood daughter bonded with the vampire king. The specifics matter less than the result. Valerius's eyes narrow. The High Council may disagree. The High Council will accept my judgment, as will you. Power rolls off Draven in waves. Unless you wish to challenge me formally, the throne room holds its collective breath. A formal challenge means single combat, to the death. Ancient law that even the most powerful vampire lords respect. Valerius is ambitious, but not suicidal. No challenge, Your Majesty, merely concern for the integrity of our laws. He bows again, sharper this time. I withdraw, for now. He leaves the throne room with measured steps, but the threat lingers like poison in the air. When the doors close behind him, Draven turns to the assembled court. Let me be absolutely clear. This is Mira Noctis, my blood-bonded mate, your queen. Anyone who questions her legitimacy questions me. Anyone who threatens her threatens our entire realm. His voice carries absolute authority. Are we understood? A chorus of, "Yes, Your Majesty," echoes through the hall. But as we return to our chambers later, I can feel Draven's worry through the bond. He's planning something, I say. Yes. What do we do? Draven pulls me close, wraps his arms around me with protective fierceness. We prepare, we stay vigilant, and we trust that our bond is stronger than his ambition. I want to believe him, but Valerius's pale eyes haunt my dreams that night. She appears in the 6th month, like a ghost returning from the dead. I'm in the gardens, tending to the roses I've claimed as my own project. It's late afternoon, the sun weak enough that Draven can join me if he chooses, though he's currently in council meetings. The guards announce her before I see her. "Your Majesty, there's a woman at the gates. She claims to be your sister." The pruning shears fall from my hands. Celestine. I find her in the entrance courtyard, surrounded by guards who don't quite know what to do with her. She looks nothing like the sister I remember. Thin, haggard. Her copper hair hangs limp and unwashed. Her dress is travel-stained, torn at the hem. Dark circles shadow her eyes. When she sees me, her face twists with an emotion I can't quite read. Rage, despair, something darker. Sister. The word sounds like a curse. Celestine. I keep my voice steady, though my heart hammers. Where have you been? Does it matter? She laughs, brittle and broken. I ran away to freedom, to love, to a life I chose for myself. Her hands clench into fists. But freedom is expensive, and love, it turns out, disappears when the money runs out. Your painter left me 3 months ago when he realized I had no access to father's wealth. No dowry, no prospects. Her eyes, so like mine, burn with accusation. Because you took my place. You stole my identity, my wedding, my vampire king. The guards shift uncomfortably. This is not a conversation for public ears. Come inside, I say quietly. We'll talk privately. I don't want your charity. I want my life back. Your life is gone, Celestine. You ran from it. I picked up the pieces. You had no right. I had no choice. The words burst out louder than intended. Father threatened me with execution. The treaty demanded an Ashwood daughter. You abandoned your duty. What was I supposed to do? She takes a step forward, trembling with fury. You were supposed to refuse. Let father find another way. Let the treaty collapse. Let the war resume. Better that than watching you wear my crown, sleep in my bed, bond with my vampire king. He was never yours. My voice drops to something cold, something I learned from watching Draven command his court. You didn't want him. You called him a monster. You ran from the very idea of him. Because I was scared. Because I didn't understand. Because I needed time. Tears stream down her face now. But you just stepped into my place like you'd been waiting for the chance. The invisible twin finally getting her moment. The accusation strikes deep because there's a grain of truth in it. Part of me did want to be seen, to be chosen, to matter. But that's not why I stayed. I stayed because people needed me, because the alliance brings peace, because Draven gave me a choice and I chose to stay. I meet her eyes. I chose him, and he chose me. Not Celestine Ashwood, Mira. Mira. She spits the name like poison. You're still just his replacement bride, a substitute, second best. I'm his blood-bonded mate, and I've earned every moment of it. We stand there, two identical faces wearing different lives, staring at each other across an unbridgeable gap. Then Draven's voice cuts through the tension. What's happening here? He's emerged from the palace, moving with that liquid grace that still catches my breath. His eyes take in the scene instantly. Me, Celestine, the guards watching with barely concealed fascination. Celestine turns to him, and her expression transforms. Desperation replaces rage. Your Majesty. She drops into a curtsy that would have been elegant if not for the trembling. I've come to reclaim what's rightfully mine, to take my place as your bonded mate, to fulfill the treaty as originally intended. Draven's expression doesn't change. You're too late. But she's an imposter. She deceived you, tricked you into bonding with the wrong sister. Celestine's voice rises with panic. Dissolve the bond. Mate with me instead. I'm the one who was promised. I'm the one you were supposed to choose. I chose exactly who I wanted. Draven moves to my side, his presence solid and unwavering. You ran from duty. Mira fulfilled it. You abandoned your responsibilities. She embraced them. His hand finds mine. You're right about one thing. She is second born, but she's first in everything that matters. Celestine's face crumples. For a moment she looks impossibly young, impossibly lost. I made a mistake, she whispers. I was foolish and scared and I ran. But I'm back now. I'll do my duty. I'll be what you need. Please. Part of me wants to hate her, wants to send her away with cruel words and just punishment. But she's my sister, my twin, and she's broken. You can stay, I hear myself say. Draven glances at me surprised. Not as queen, not as his mate. Those roles are mine. But you can stay as my guest. Rest, recover, figure out what you want from your life. I don't want your pity. It's not pity, it's mercy. Something I learned from Draven. I squeeze his hand. We're not monsters, Celestine, neither of us. She stares at me for a long moment. Then slowly she nods. 1 week. I'll stay 1 week. Then I leave. Agreed. The guards escort her to guest chambers. Draven and I stand alone in the courtyard as evening falls. That was generous, he murmurs. That was necessary. She's family, broken family, but still. He pulls me close, wraps his arms around me. You're too kind. She wanted to destroy you. She wanted her life back. I can understand that. I rest my head against his chest. Besides, maybe seeing what we have will help her move forward, find her own path. What I don't say, what I keep locked behind careful walls even the bond can't fully penetrate, is that having Celestine here terrifies me, because she's right about one thing. I am the replacement, and some part of me will always wonder if I'm truly enough. The 5th month brings revelation wrapped in nausea. I wake feeling sick, barely making it to the basin before my stomach revolts. Draven holds my hair back, concern radiating through our bond. This isn't normal, he says, even for humans. The palace physician confirms what I've begun to suspect. Your Majesty is with child. The words hang in the air like prophecy. A baby. I'm carrying Draven's baby. It's rare, the physician continues, an ancient vampire woman with knowing eyes. Vampire and human matings seldom produce offspring. The child will be Dhampir, half mortal, half vampire. Extremely precious, extremely dangerous to carry. Dangerous how? The baby will drain your strength, require blood to grow. Your body will struggle to sustain both of you. She meets my eyes. Dhampir pregnancies last 7 to 8 months, not 9 like human pregnancies. The baby grows faster, demands more. Many human mothers don't survive Dhampir births. Ice floods my veins. Draven's hand finds mine, grips tight. What can we do? His voice is carefully controlled, but I feel his terror through the bond. Rest, blood supplements, careful monitoring, and prayer to whatever gods you believe in. The physician bows. I'll prepare what you need, but your Majesty should know the next 7 months will be critical. When she leaves, Draven pulls me into his arms with desperate gentleness. We'll get through this. I won't lose you. You might not have a choice. There's always a choice. His hand splays across my still flat stomach. I can turn you, make you immortal, strengthen you enough to carry the baby safely. And lose my humanity? Lose the very thing that makes our bond unique? Better that than losing you entirely. We stand there, holding each other, feeling the weight of impossible decisions. The announcement of the pregnancy should be joyous. Instead, it feels like a countdown. 7 months until the birth. 7 months to figure out how to survive. Celestine changes as the week stretches into 2, then 3. She watches from the shadows as I navigate court, sees me mediate disputes, charm visiting dignitaries, stand beside Draven with quiet confidence, sees the way he looks at me, touches me, defers to my judgment on matters of human concern. She sees what we built together. One evening, she knocks on my chamber door. I open it to find her looking small, uncertain, nothing like the furious woman who arrived demanding her life back. "Can we talk?" I let her in. We sit by the fire, two identical women wearing different lives. "I was wrong," she says quietly, "about everything. You didn't steal my life. You built something completely different, something better than I ever could have." "Celestine." "No, let me finish." She wipes her eyes. "I watched you today in court. That dispute between House Corvus and House Morven, it would have erupted into violence. You found compromise no one else could see. You made them both feel heard, valued, respected." She looks at me. "I could never have done that. I'm not clever enough, not patient enough. I would have been a terrible queen." "You didn't want to be queen at all." "No, I wanted to paint, to travel, to live freely without the weight of duty crushing me." She laughs softly. "Turns out freedom is its own kind of prison when you have no purpose. So find a purpose." "I'm trying." She hesitates. "There's something you should know, something I should have told you immediately." Alarm spikes through me. "What?" "Count Valerius. He approached me 2 weeks before I ran away, offered me an alternative." Her hands twist in her lap. "He said he would mate with me instead. Give me power, protection, immortality. All I had to do was refuse Draven publicly, break the treaty, throw the realms into chaos." "You're saying Valerius wanted you to sabotage the alliance?" "Worse, he wanted the alliance to fail so he could position himself as peacemaker, offer himself as alternative king, me as his queen, stage a coup while everyone was focused on preventing war." My mind races. "But you ran before you could do it." I panicked, realized I didn't want to be anyone's pawn, not Father's, not Valerius's, not even Draven's. So I ran with Marcus and tried to disappear. She meets my eyes. "But Valerius found me 3 months ago, after Marcus left. He offered again, said he could make me queen, restore what you stole." "What did you say?" I said yes. The admission falls like a stone. I was angry, desperate, stupid. I agreed to come back, to challenge your legitimacy, to help him destabilize Draven's rule. Betrayal burns in my chest. "Then why are you telling me this?" "Because I've been here 3 weeks watching you, watching Draven, watching what you built together." Tears spill down her cheeks. "And I realize Valerius doesn't want me as queen. He wants chaos. He wants Draven weakened. He wants to tear down everything good you've created, and I can't be part of that." She pulls a letter from her pocket, hands it to me with shaking fingers. "This arrived today, from Valerius, his plan. He wants me to testify at a High Council inquiry that you're an imposter. Force Draven to dissolve the bond. Create succession crisis." Her voice drops to a whisper. "And he wants to move during your pregnancy, when you're most vulnerable, when Draven will be distracted protecting you and the baby." I read the letter, each word more damning than the last. "He plans a coup." "Yes, and I almost helped him." She grabs my hands. "But I can't, won't. You're my sister, flawed, complicated, but still my sister. And I won't let him destroy you." For the first time in months, I see my twin clearly. Not as rival or enemy, but as the girl who shared my childhood, who understood the loneliness of being overlooked. What do? We tell Draven, prepare, and we make sure Valerius fails. I pull her into an embrace, feel her shaking against me. "Thank you for choosing me, choosing us. I'm choosing what's right, finally." Draven takes the news with cold fury. He's been planning this for months, since before the wedding. He paces the council chamber like a caged predator, using Celestine as a pawn, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The pregnancy makes me vulnerable, I say quietly. He knows that. Then we move first. I'll summon the High Council, present evidence of his plotting, have him tried for treason. He'll deny everything. It's Celestine's word against his. Celestine, standing in the corner, speaks up. I have letters, correspondence proving his involvement. I kept them as insurance. Then we have him. Draven's eyes burn crimson. He'll face justice for threatening my mate, my child, my realm. Theron, Draven's most trusted advisor, leans forward. He's been silent until now, his ancient face grave. He's been Draven's companion for 200 years, survived countless political upheavals, earned absolute trust. Let him come. We're prepared. The guard has been reinforced, the palace secured, our allies notified. But something in his voice sounds wrong, too smooth, too assured. And when he glances at Celestine, there's something in his eyes that makes my skin crawl. Draven must sense it too, because his eyes narrow fractionally. You've been coordinating the security arrangements personally? Of course, my lord. Every detail has been seen to. Theron's smile doesn't quite reach his eyes. Including the guard rotation for the coming months? Especially those. Triple watches on all entrances. No one enters without my direct authorization. The meeting concludes. We disperse to our duties. But later, as Draven and I settle for the evening, I voice my concern. Something felt off about Theron tonight. I noticed. Draven's jaw tightens. He's been strange lately, distant, asking questions about our security that seem unnecessary. And the way he looked at Celestine, you don't think, I don't want to think it. Theron has been my friend since before you were born. I trust him with my life. He pauses. But I've been betrayed by trust before. We lie awake long into the night, listening to the sounds of the palace. Guards changing shifts, servants moving through corridors, the normal rhythm of our home. But something feels wrong. And as my hand rests on my growing belly, I know the countdown has begun. 7 months until the birth. 7 months until Valerius makes his move. 7 months to figure out who we can truly trust. The 11th month arrives with autumn rain. I watch it from the palace windows, my hand resting on the swell of my stomach, where our child grows stronger every day. 7 months pregnant now, my body transformed by the Dhampir baby demanding more blood, more strength, more life than any human pregnancy should require. Draven stands behind me, his cool presence a constant comfort, his hand covering mine. Are you afraid? He asked quietly. Terrified. So am I. The honesty of it settles something in my chest. We're both walking into the unknown. A Dhampir child has not been born in this realm for over a century. The last one, according to ancient records, killed its mother during delivery. The physician visits daily now, monitoring my weakening condition. The baby feeds on my blood, my strength, my very life force. I'm pale as moonlight, exhausted from simply crossing a room. Draven feeds me his blood to supplement what the baby takes. It helps, but it's not enough. The physician's warning echoes in my mind with every labored breath. Many mothers don't survive Dhampir births. Celestine has stayed, despite her promise to leave after a week. She's become something unexpected. An ally, a friend, almost a sister again. She sits with me during the long afternoons when Draven must attend to kingdom business. Reads to me, tells me stories about our childhood, memories I'd forgotten or never noticed. Do you remember the summer father sent us to grandmother's estate? She turns a page in the book she's not really reading. You spent every day in her library. I spent every day in the gardens painting. I remember you were better at everything, more beautiful, more talented, more loved. And I remember being jealous of how smart you were, how people actually listened when you spoke. She sets the book aside. We wasted so much time comparing ourselves to each other, instead of seeing we were both worthy in different ways. Are you saying you've changed? I'm saying watching you risk your life to bring a child into this world has a way of clarifying what actually matters. Her hand finds mine. I won't let Valerius hurt you, whatever it takes. The baby kicks hard, a sharp jab beneath my ribs. We both feel it. Celestine's eyes widen. He's strong. Or she. We don't know yet. Strong either way. She smiles, genuine warmth. Just like the mother. The labor begins 3 weeks early on a night when the moon hides behind storm clouds. I wake to wetness and pain, a contraction that steals my breath and nearly breaks my spine. Draven is awake instantly, vampire speed carrying him to the door before I can cry out. Get the physician, now! The next hours blur into agony. The baby is coming too fast, too hard, demanding entrance into a world that's not quite ready. My body tears trying to accommodate something half human, half immortal, caught between two natures. The physician works with desperate efficiency, but I can see the fear in her ancient eyes. The baby is draining her too quickly. She's losing blood faster than we can replace it. Draven is beside me, his hand gripping mine hard enough to bruise. I can feel his terror through the bond, raw and overwhelming. Turn her, he orders. Make her vampire. It's the only way. My lord, she's too weak. The turning might kill her faster than the birth. Then what do? We pray. Another contraction hits, and I scream. The sound tears from my throat, primal and desperate. Something inside me ruptures. Blood, too much blood, pooling beneath me. She's hemorrhaging. The physician's voice rises with panic. We're losing her. The door crashes open. Celestine rushes in, her face white. Let me help. This is no place for... I'm her twin, her blood. Celestine moves to the bed, pushes up her sleeve. Take mine. Use it to supplement hers. The physician hesitates only a moment before nodding. It might work. Twin blood carries similar properties. It could buy us time. They connect us, Celestine's blood flowing into my veins, while my blood flows into our child. A circle of life and death and desperate love. Stay with me, Celestine whispers, gripping my other hand. You don't get to die, Mira. You don't get to leave when you've finally found everything you deserve. Another contraction. Another scream. The world narrows to pain and pressure and the overwhelming need to push. I can see the head, the physician announces. One more. Give me one more push. I have nothing left. My vision darkens at the edges. My heartbeat stutters. But Draven's voice cuts through the fog. You walked into terror and made it bow. You can do this. For us, for our child, for our future. I find strength I didn't know existed. Draw on the bond, on Celestine's blood, on 300 years of vampire power flowing through Draven's touch. I push. The baby slides free with a sound like tearing, like birth, like the first cry of something new entering an old world. And then I hear it, a wail, strong and furious and alive. It's a boy, the physician breathes, wonder in her voice. A healthy boy. She places him on my chest, this tiny creature covered in blood and vernix, and I see him for the first time. Dark hair like his father, eyes that haven't settled into their permanent color yet, shifting between crimson and hazel. Small fangs already visible in his gums, proof of his vampire heritage. He's perfect. Asher, I whisper, the name we'd chosen weeks ago. His name is Asher. Draven leans down, kisses my forehead with reverent gentleness. You did it. You survived. I want to answer, want to tell him I love him, want to hold our son properly, but the darkness at the edges of my vision spreads. I've lost too much blood, given too much. The last thing I see before unconsciousness claims me is Celestine's face, tears streaming down her cheeks, whispering, thank you for fighting. Then nothing. I wake 3 days later. The room is dim, curtains drawn against daylight. Draven sits in a chair beside the bed, Asher cradled in his arms. He's feeding the baby from a bottle, blood mixed with milk, the special formula the physician prepared for a Dampier child. When he sees my eyes open, his expression transforms. Mira, I'm alive. Barely. He stands carefully, brings Asher to me. You died twice on that table. Twice we brought you back. The physician said it was a miracle. I said it was stubbornness. I reach for our son with weak arms. Draven helps me, positions Asher so I can see him properly. He's beautiful. More so than when I first glimpsed him through the haze of trauma. His features have refined over 3 days, becoming more distinct. Draven's strong jaw. My nose. A combination that's uniquely his own. He's been waiting for you, Draven murmurs. Cries every time I try to put him down. The physician says he can feel the bond, knows his mother is near. Tears slip down my face. I was so scared I wouldn't get to know him. You're here now. That's what matters. He settles beside me on the bed, our son between us. Celestine saved your life. Her blood bought the time you needed. The physician says without her intervention, both you and Asher would have been lost. Where is she? Sleeping, finally. She hasn't left this room in 3 days except when I forced her to eat. His voice softens. She's been your guardian, your fierce protector. I think she finally understands what it means to love someone more than yourself. Asher makes a small sound, his tiny hand grasping my finger with surprising strength. The bond flares, warm and golden and alive. Not just between Draven and me anymore, but including this small life we created. Family. Real, messy, hard-won family. 2 months pass in a haze of sleepless nights and precious moments. Asher grows faster than a human baby, his vampire heritage accelerating his development. At 2 months, he's as developed as a 6-month-old. Alert. Curious. His eyes have settled into heterochromia, one crimson like Draven's, one hazel like mine. The court adores him. Vampires who initially questioned a human queen now bring gifts for the Dampier prince. He's proof that our union works, that vampire and human can create something beautiful together. But Valerius's threat still looms. Celestine has been feeding him false information for weeks, leading him to believe we're unprepared, vulnerable, distracted by new parenthood. His letters grow more bold, more explicit in their plans. He's planning to move soon, she reports during a private council meeting. Draven, me, Celestine, and Theron. He's gathering allies in the Western houses. Claims he has proof of fraud, that the High Council will be forced to investigate. Theron leans forward, his expression carefully neutral. But I notice the way his eyes flick to Celestine, the way his fingers tap against the table. Nervous tells that weren't there before. Let him come. We're prepared. The guard has been reinforced, the palace secured, our allies notified. Something in his voice sounds wrong, too smooth, too assured. Draven must sense it too, because his eyes narrow fractionally. You've been coordinating the security arrangements personally? Of course, my lord. Every detail has been seen to. Including the guard rotation tonight? Especially tonight. Triple watches on all entrances. No one enters without my direct authorization. The meeting concludes. We disperse to our duties. But later, as Draven and I settle Asher for sleep, I voice my concern. Something felt off about Theron tonight. The way he looked at Celestine. The way he answered your questions. I noticed. Draven's jaw tightens. He's been strange for weeks now, distant, asking questions about our security that seem unnecessary, and those nervous tells. He pauses. Theron has been my friend for 200 years. I trust him with my life, but I've been betrayed by trust before. We lie awake long after Asher falls asleep, listening to the sounds of the palace at night, guards changing shifts, servants moving through corridors, the normal rhythm of our home. Then, just after midnight, a sound that doesn't belong, breaking glass, shouting, the clash of steel. Draven is moving before I can fully process it. Stay here. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone except me. Draven, protect our son. He's gone. Vampire speed carrying him into the chaos beyond our chambers. I scoop Asher from his cradle, hold him close as he whimpers in confusion. Move to the heavy door, throw the bolt. Press my ear against the wood, straining to hear. Sounds of battle echo through the corridors. Vampires fighting vampires. The wet sounds of violence, of death. Then a voice I recognize, Theron's voice, raised in command. Find the child. Lord Valerius wants the Dampier heir dead. No witnesses. My blood turns to ice. Theron, the trusted advisor, the 200-year companion, the traitor. The door shudders under impact. Someone is trying to break through. Heavy blows that crack the ancient wood, that promise invasion. I back away, clutching Asher to my chest. He's crying now, sensing my fear through our bond. There's nowhere to hide in these chambers, nowhere to run. The door splinters. 3 vampires force their way through, eyes glowing with bloodlust. I don't recognize them. Valerius's people, mercenaries brought in for this exact purpose. Hand over the child. Never. The lead vampire smiles, fangs extending. We were hoping you'd resist. He lunges. I dodge, purely on instinct, faster than I should be able to move. The blood bond with Draven has changed me, enhanced me. Not vampire, but not fully human anymore either. But I'm still no match for 3 immortal predators. One catches my arm, yanks hard enough to nearly dislocate my shoulder. Asher screams. I fight with desperate fury, nails raking across vampire flesh that heals too quickly. Another grabs for my son. Then the window explodes inward. Celestine crashes through in a shower of glass, a sword in her hands that she clearly has no idea how to use properly. But she swings it with frantic determination, forces the vampires back. Get away from my sister! It's enough distraction. I twist free, run for the far corner, anything to put distance between Asher and the attackers. But we're cornered now. Celestine and I, backs against the wall, 3 vampires advancing with predatory patience. This is touching, the leader says. The twins, together at the end. Valerius will appreciate the symmetry. Valerius is a coward, Celestine spits, using traitors and hired killers instead of facing Draven honorably. Honor is for fools. Power is what matters. He moves to strike. Draven appears behind him like death incarnate. One moment the vampire is advancing, the next his head separates from his body in a spray of blood that disintegrates to ash before it hits the ground. Draven moves through the remaining 2 attackers like a force of nature. No mercy, no hesitation, just brutal, efficient violence that ends in seconds. When the last body crumbles to ash, he turns to me. Blood covers him. His eyes burn pure crimson. He looks like every story humans tell about vampire monsters, about nightmares given flesh. But when he reaches for Asher, his hands are gentle. You're safe now. I collapse against him, shaking so hard my teeth chatter. Asher wails between us, and Celestine stands there with her useless sword, breathing hard. Theron? I manage to ask. Draven's expression goes cold. In custody, along with a dozen others. Valerius's network ran deeper than we thought. His arms tighten around us. But it's over. We've won. At what cost? That remains to be seen. The Grand Council convenes 1 week later. The highest governing body of the vampire realm, 12 ancient lords and ladies who oversee matters of law, succession, and territory. They've been summoned to address Valerius's formal accusation of fraud, his demand that my legitimacy be questioned. The throne room has been transformed into a court of judgment. Raised seats for the council members, a central floor where the accused stands. Hundreds of witnesses packed into every available space. I stand in the center of it all, wearing a gown of deep purple that Draven chose specifically. Royal colors, queen colors. a statement that I belong here. Asher is with his nurses, safely hidden away. Draven sits on his throne above the proceedings, expression carved from marble. This must be impartial. The council must see him as neutral, even though his mate is the one being judged. Valerius stands across from me, silver hair gleaming, pale eyes triumphant. The head counselor, an ancient vampire woman named Seraphiel, calls the court to order. We are here to determine the legitimacy of Queen Mira Noctis, blood-bonded mate to King Draven Noctis. Her voice carries absolute authority. Count Valerius has presented evidence suggesting the queen is not who she claims to be, that she is, in fact, an impostor who substituted herself for her twin sister. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Seraphiel continues. The evidence centers on a fundamental question. The treaty specified that Draven would mate with Celestine Ashwood. The reports from treaty negotiations described her scent as wild roses in moonlight. Yet the woman before us smells of lavender and roses, a discrepancy that demands explanation. The explanation is simple, Valerius says smoothly. This woman is not Celestine Ashwood. She is Mira Ashwood, the twin sister who took Celestine's place through deception. The blood bond, while real, is fraudulent. It should be dissolved. And your proof? I call Lord Ashwood to testify. My father enters the court, looking smaller than I remember. He won't meet my eyes. Lord Ashwood, how many daughters do you have? 2, twins, Celestine and Mira. And which daughter was promised to King Draven in the treaty? Celestine, my eldest by 7 minutes. Yet which daughter stands before us today? My father's pause is damning. Mira. The court erupts. Shouts of outrage, of vindication, of shock. Seraphiel calls for order, her voice cutting through the chaos. Lord Ashwood, explain how this substitution occurred. And my father does, tells them everything. How Celestine ran, how he forced me to take her place, how he threatened me with execution if I refused. When he finishes, the court is silent. Seraphiel turns to me. Do you deny these allegations? No. Gasps echo through the hall. I am Mira Ashwood. I did take my sister's place. The deception was real. I lift my chin. But the bond is not fraudulent. The treaty required an Ashwood daughter. I am an Ashwood daughter. I fulfilled the terms. But you lied about your identity. I was forced to, and King Draven knew the truth from the beginning. All eyes turn to Draven. He stands, descends from the throne with measured steps. It's true. I knew within moments of meeting her that she wasn't the Celestine described in reports. Her scent was different. Her manner was different. He moves to stand beside me. I chose to complete the bond anyway. Valerius sneers. Because you were deceived into thinking, because I wasn't interested in Celestine Ashwood. I was interested in the woman who sacrificed herself for peace. Draven's voice fills the hall. The treaty specified an Ashwood daughter would mate with the vampire king. Mira is an Ashwood daughter. She is my mate. The treaty stands. But the scent, Valerius insists. The official records state wild roses in moonlight. She smells of lavender and roses. Proof of fraud. Draven reaches into his coat, produces a document. The official bond registry, filed the night of our wedding. Witness my signature and the royal seal. He hands it to Seraphiel. She reads it, her ancient face impassive. The scent recorded here is lavender and starlight, merged with blood to create lavender-rose fusion. Mira Ashwood's true scent, documented before the blood bond ceremony. The court explodes into chaos again. Valerius's face goes white. That's impossible. The original reports were based on Celestine, not Mira. Draven's smile is sharp as broken glass. I recorded the truth from the beginning. You're attacking my mate based on false information. This is a technicality. This is the law. An Ashwood daughter mated with the vampire king. the specifics of which daughter are irrelevant. Seraphiel studies the document for a long moment. Then she turns to the assembled council. It appears King Draven has acted within the letter of the treaty. The bond is legal. The question becomes whether this court accepts that interpretation. Before any council member can speak, a voice rings out from the crowd. I have something to say. Celestine steps forward. She's dressed simply, her copper hair pulled back, her face bare of cosmetics. She looks nothing like the vain sister who ran from duty months ago. She looks like someone who's found her purpose. I am Celestine Ashwood, the daughter who was originally promised in the treaty. She moves to the center of the court, stands beside me. And I am here to tell you that Mira Ashwood is the rightful queen. Valerius lunges forward. She's been coerced, threatened. Her testimony is meaningless. My testimony is truth. Celestine's voice doesn't waver. I ran from my duty because I was a coward. Mira stepped up because she was brave. I would have been a terrible queen, selfish, vain, weak. Mira has proven herself diplomatic, intelligent, strong. She turns to the council. I watched her navigate court politics with more skill in 3 months than I could have managed in 3 lifetimes. I watched her mediate disputes that would have erupted into violence. I watched her nearly die bringing a Dhampir heir into this world because she loves King Draven with everything she is. Tears stream down her face now. My sister didn't steal my life. She saved it. She saved all of us. Celestine turns to me, and I'm grateful. Grateful she had courage when I did not. Grateful she found love where I only saw duty. Grateful she became the queen this realm needed. She drops to one knee before me, in front of the entire court. I, Celestine Ashwood, eldest daughter of Lord Ashwood, give my blessing to Queen Mira Noctis. I formally relinquish any claim to the throne. She is my queen, and I am honored to call her my sister. The court is utterly silent. Then, one by one, vampires begin to kneel. Nobles, guards, servants, visitors. A wave of fealty that spreads through the throne room like wildfire. Even members of the council stand, bow their heads in acknowledgement. Valerius stands alone, fury and defeat warring on his perfect face. Seraphiel's voice cuts through the silence. The council has heard testimony, reviewed evidence, witnessed public acknowledgement from all relevant parties. She looks directly at me. Queen Mira Noctis, your bond is declared legal and binding. Your position is secure. Your legitimacy is unquestioned. Relief nearly buckles my knees. Draven's hand finds mine, squeezes once. Seraphiel turns to Valerius. As for you, Count Valerius, your accusations were baseless. Your evidence was flawed. And your conspiracy with Theron of House Corvus to assassinate the Dhampir heir constitutes high treason. You have no proof. Theron confessed, completely, named you as the architect of the coup, provided documentation of your communications. Her eyes are merciless. You are stripped of your titles, your lands, your position. You are exiled from the vampire realm, forbidden to return on pain of permanent death. Guards move to seize him. Valerius struggles, but it's futile. As they drag him from the court, he looks back at me with pure hatred. This isn't over. Yes, I say quietly, it is. 2 years later, I stand in the palace gardens, watching Asher toddle through the roses. He's walking now, talking in short sentences, growing faster than any human child, but slower than a full vampire would. Perfect balance, just like him. His heterochromia eyes track a butterfly, and he laughs with pure joy. The sound never fails to make my chest ache with love. Mama, look! I see, sweetheart. Beautiful. Draven emerges from the palace, crosses the garden with that liquid grace that still catches my breath after 2 years. He sweeps Asher up, tosses him high enough to make our son shriek with delight. Careful, I chide, but I'm smiling. He's half vampire. A little flight won't hurt him. He's also half human. A little caution won't hurt you. Draven sets Asher down, lets him run back to his butterfly. Then he pulls me close, wraps his arms around my waist from behind. Regrets? He murmurs against my neck. About what? Taking your sister's place, binding yourself to a vampire, giving up your human life. I turn in his arms, look up at this impossible man who became my everything. Not a single one. Not even when court politics drive you to distraction? Not even then. Not even when I'm insufferable? Especially not then. He laughs, and the sound is freedom. The sound of a man who spent 200 years alone, learning to love again. Celestine appears from the greenhouse, her hands covered in dirt, her face bright with purpose. She's found her calling in the palace gardens, creates beauty with plants the way she once tried to with paint. She's happy, genuinely happy, working with her hands, no pressure of being perfect, just being herself. Asher, come see what grew overnight. Our son runs to his aunt, chattering excitedly. They disappear into the greenhouse together, leaving Draven and me alone among the roses. Your scent, he says suddenly. It's different today. Is it? Sweeter, warmer, like lavender and roses and… He stops. His eyes widen. You're pregnant again. I smile, place his hand on my stomach where the second life has just begun growing. Are you happy? Terrified, ecstatic, overwhelmed. He drops to his knees, presses his forehead against my belly. Another chance to almost lose you, another chance to gain everything. We'll be more prepared this time. We'll be terrified this time too. He looks up at me, crimson eyes glowing with emotion. But yes, I'm happy. I run my fingers through his dark hair, look around at the life we've built, the garden we tend together, the son who plays without knowing he's the bridge between two species, the sister who found redemption, the kingdom that accepted a human queen, all of it born from deception, all of it transformed into truth. I love you, I whisper, my vampire king who turned out to be everything I needed. I love you, he answers, my replacement bride who became irreplaceable. Asher's laughter echoes from the greenhouse. Celestine's voice joins his, warm and full of joy. And I understand finally what it means to choose your fate and have fate choose you back. I am not Celestine Ashwood. I never was. I am Mira Noctis, queen, mother, sister, mate, and I earned every word of that title, not through birthright or beauty or political arrangement, but through courage, through honesty, through love freely chosen and fiercely protected. The lavender queen who conquered roses, the human who taught a vampire to hope again, the replacement who became the original, the shadow twin who stepped into her own light. This is my story, and it's only beginning.